What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to do a quick overview of my new bike. This is a Trek Procaliber 9.6. So I've actually had this bike for a couple months since last spring, but I never had the chance to make a video about the bike itself. If you've seen some of my other videos, I have done a few races on this bike over the summer. So you've seen me race on this bike, but I just want to talk about the bike itself. So this bike replaces my old hardtail, which is a Trek Excalibur 8. So that was an aluminum hardtail. So I made the upgrade last spring to a carbon hardtail from Trek. So like I said, this is the Procaliber 9.6. This is the Gen 2 version of the bike. And the reason I got this was because they came out with the Gen 3 a couple months ago. So I got this one on sale. And also I wanted the 9.6, which came with some better components. And for the Gen 3 Procaliber, for some reason they're not selling the 9.6 in the US. So I was happy that I was able to get one of the last Gen 2 9.6s that they had available at the Trek store. So like I said, this is a carbon hardtail bike. You could consider it a Softtail bike because right here on the seat area there is a bearing, and it does give you some flexion on the seats when you're going over some rougher areas. So it's not full suspension, but it does give you a little bit more compliance on the seat area when you're riding, just to not fatigue your body quite as much. So speaking of suspension, in the front, this is the stock fork that the bike comes with. So this is a RockShox Recon Gold fork. It has 110 millimeters of suspension. And when I got the bike, it did have a remote lever from the factory that connected to the handlebars here. But I had my local Trek store actually remove that lever just because I didn't feel like I needed it. And there was just too many wires. So I had them remove that. And then now the switch is just right here to adjust the suspension. So it's a pretty good fork. Pretty good, like mid-tier fork. I think next year I probably will upgrade that just to something lighter, something that has a little bit better performance. But no complaints so far. It's definitely been a solid fork for the riding style that I'm doing. And speaking of my riding style, I mainly do cross-country style races and rides, but also 75% of my riding is probably on pavement, just because of where I live, my schedule, and things like that. So, some people might say, well, why not get a road bike? Why not get a gravel bike? I only have space for one bike right now, and a road bike can't go on mountain bike trails, but a mountain bike can go on the road and gravel and things like that. So I think a hardtail carbon bike is just, a good option if you only have one bike and you want to do mountain biking, gravel riding, and pavement riding. This can go pretty much anywhere. So as the bike is right now, I think it's roughly maybe 26, 27 pounds. Can't remember exactly. So I do want to upgrade some more things in the future to make it a little bit lighter. But it is definitely lighter than my previous aluminum hardtail. So I just want to talk about some of the other things that I've upgraded on the bike. And I'll also talk about some of the stock features that it comes with. So this build, the Procaliber 9.6, is pretty much like a Shimano XT, Shimano SLX build. So the cranks are Shimano XT, I believe. And if I misspeak, I'll put everything in the description so you can see all the exact specs. The rear derailleur is Shimano XT for sure. The rear cassette, I believe, is a Shimano SLX cassette. The chain is a Shimano Derailleur chain. And the shifter up here is a Shimano SLX shifter. So pretty much, like I said, it's all Shimano build. The brakes are Shimano MT501 brakes. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with Shimano. The shifting performance is pretty much perfect. I mean, I know a lot of people are going towards wireless shifting, but I don't really have many complaints about this setup right here with the Shimano XT and Shimano SLX combination. So one big thing that I upgraded was the seat and the dropper post. So this is a OneUp V3 components dropper post. I'm pretty sure it's one of the lightest dropper posts on the market. Has pretty good performance. And if you're not familiar with dropper posts, you can just put the seat down like that. So if you're going over rough terrain or steep hills, you can get the seat out of your way, and then it pops up just like that. The seat is the Ergon SM Pro saddle. Super comfortable for me. I think it's probably one of my favorite saddles now going forward, so I'm happy that I found this saddle. Coming up here to the grips and the handlebars. So the grips, these are the ones that came on the bike, but I would have put them on there anyways. So these are the ESI chunky grips. I like these grips a lot. The handlebar is just a standard Bontrager alloy handlebar. And yeah, one of the other things I'll talk about briefly is some of the other like gadgets that I have on here that aren't really components. So when I'm doing my city riding, I do like to put lights on the bike just to be seen by other cars. So this is just a Trek Ion 200 RT front flashing light. So it's not really for you to see the ground, it's more for cars to see you. So that's a pretty nice light there. Up here I also have my Garmin bike computer. This is just a Garmin Edge 520 Plus. Just has basic features, allows me to track my rides and things like that. And I do have this K-Edge mount that goes into your stem cap, and you can put your bike computer right on there like that. Just a pretty clean look. You know, you don't have to put one of those mounts on your handlebars. The last light I have on here is just a rear light, just a small Olight, just a red flashing light so that if there are any cars behind me, they can see me at night or when the sun's going down. I also, of course, have a bottle cage. This is just a Bontrager, I think it's carbon fiber bottle cage, so pretty lightweight. Then I also do like to keep a pump on here. You know, I know some people nowadays are going towards those small electric pumps, but this is just a classic manual pump from OneUp. And there is also a CO2 cartridge in here, and you can use the tip of the pump as like a CO2 inflator. So you have a pump and you also have an extra CO2 cartridge in there to fill up your tires. So speaking of tires, these tires did not come on the bike. It came with just Bontrager, I think XR2 tires or something like that. But I do like Maxxis tires, so I put on some Recon race tires. These are 2.4 inches. And these are pretty good for me because, like I said, most of my riding is actually on pavement. And then when I do ride single track, it's mostly cross-country style riding. So these tires are very fast rolling in the center, but they do have decent lugs on the sides for when you're turning. So I do like these tires. They're tubeless, so I have sealant inside the tires. Pretty nice tires for me. And the wheels are the stock wheels that comes with the bike, just alloy wheels. One day, you know, I may get carbon fiber wheels, but from what I'm hearing, it may be better for me to upgrade my fork first, you know, save a little bit of weight there before I upgrade the wheels. One of the last things is just the pedals. So, you know, you buy bikes like this, they don't usually come with any pedals. So I've had these Crankbrothers pedals for quite some time now. I believe these are the Eggbeater 3s. And I actually have two pairs of these so I can swap them out if one of them needs to be serviced. So I've been riding Crankbrothers pedals for a long time. No complaints about those. Those are kind of my favorite pedals at this point. So yeah, that's pretty much just a quick overview of the bike. I wanted to make a review video before it got too cold. Like I said, I've had it for a couple months now. No complaints about the bike. It seems pretty well made. The components that it came with are pretty nice, so I'm happy I went with the 9.6 Gen 2 Procaliber. And if I didn't mention it, the color is Mulsanne blue, so it's a very nice blue. My previous bike was just, you know, matte black, so it's nice to have a actual color on the bike now. So it's probably time for me to give it a wash. But yeah, just wanted to give you a quick overview of the bike. Be on the lookout for another video coming soon about different tools that I carry like on my body and stuff when I'm riding, you know, if I get a flat tire or things like that. So thanks for watching. Catch you all in the next video.